Today we got a new fragrance for you guys, obviously, right? From the house of TUMI. What do I want to say about this? Well, let's just dive right in. Strap up. We're going for a ride. All right. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. I love that new intro. Scent, bubble. Little do you guys know, I have a lot more intros coming. So stay tuned for that. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I am your Scent Bubble host for the afternoon. We drop episodes every single day. I'm documenting my journey. I'm dropping gems. We do all kind of things. We shop around. We touch everything from clone inspiration to designer and niche. Everything in between, collaborations, game shows, everything for your guys' fragrance entertainment and enlightenment. Big word, huh? Today from the house of TUMI, courtesy of my boy Kix Griffey, we have TUMI Distilled Awaken Distilled. Looked a little bit different on the writing compared to what it says online. This is Awaken Distilled. Don't know much about the house of TUMI. There was one fragrance I tried a while back that I wasn't too fond of, but I have a couple more fragrances courtesy of Kix that I'm going to dive into to give them a couple more shots. Okay. Now. Okay. Needed to make sure I sprayed the right side here. Initial thoughts. Let's look at the description real quick to see if there's anything I can provide you on the back end. This is a woody aromatic fragrance for men. This is a new fragrance launched in 2024. Okay, wow. I thought this would have probably been an older fragrance, but all right, let's get some initial impressions on it. I might have sprayed both sides of the dang test strip like a ding-dong. Okay, so I get aromatic, fresh metallics. I don't get the sense of like woodiness, but I definitely get aromatics. So the opening is very much aromatic heavy. Kind of interested to see how this will sit on skin. So we'll let that sit while I go into initial impressions and all that jazz. But yeah, I definitely get more of the aromatic side of this fragrance. It feels very kind of like bergamot crisp, light, airy, a little bit. I don't know if herbal's the right word, but aromatics can sometimes deal with herbals and things like that. It just feels very kind of like woodsy, meaning you're out in the woods and not necessarily wood. Kind of has this light, airy citrus crispness, very silver and metallic, similar to like your Silver Lakes, your Chrome Azzaros, or Azzaro Chromes, your, on the clone side, maybe something like Mahir Legacy Silver, but that's more limey. But again, just that idea of metallic. That's really all I get. Aromatics, woodsiness, very easy to wear fragrance. Not much to really speak about. It's not like, wow, this is incredible. I'm more interested to see what's in it to see if I can make out any of these other notes. Pretty linear here. Amberwood, cedarwood, patchouli, lavender, bergamot, and mandarin orange. I get kind of a bergamot-y orange, but in the most basic way. You've smelled this before on just about any metallic citrus-based fragrance. It's citruses on the top, some kind of metallic feel in the mid, and in the base, you typically have cedar or birch or some type of wood. Here it has patchouli and lavender, which, to be quite honest, the cedar is light. The fragrance feels more fruity sweet. You know, you're getting a lot of that orange coming through on the citric side, but it definitely feels more bergamot-y, almost like a sweet bergamot. The lavender is very soft. The patchouli is extremely soft. I mostly just get cedarwood and bergamot. This feels very linear to me, guys. I'm going to be honest. Let's see how it sits on skin. I want to give it a second chance. So it's definitely more radiant on skin. You get more of that amberwood coming through. When the fragrance warms up, I feel like the citrus is really push, but it also gets kind of this warmth, which adds another layer to it, makes it feel a little bit more sophisticated or, you know, composed. Yeah, it on skin, it feels like warm, ambery, citrus on woods, mostly citrus in the form of a kind of sweeter touch of bergamot. Feels very simple, doesn't feel super synthetic. This is a very basic wear for me. I call it an average, like 7 out of 10. Personally, I might go a 6, but I think for somebody looking for a basic wear, you know, something very like, again, citrus on woods, guys, whether it's sweet, whether it's tart, whether it's metallic, they all kind of have a very similar vibe. And I think what it comes down to in terms of flair, if we're not talking niche fragrances, we're more at the designer and below category, is really just which one smells the most natural and what direction do you want to go? Do you like the metallic lean? Do you like the citric lean? Do you like more of an aquatic lean? Do you like the floral lean? And then just kind of picking which fragrance you like, because in this wheelhouse, there's a lot of fragrances that make a lot of sense, so long as they don't feel synthetic. Some people, when they smell kind of metallics and things like that, they're immediately turned off because either it smells so basic or they don't like the kind of synthetic push that a lot of metallic fragrances have. But I think if you are anything in the wheelhouse of a basic metallic fragrance, this will certainly fit the bill. This feels metallic leaning with a touch of sweetened bergamot citrus. It does have a slight tart to it. It is balanced. I don't want to say sweet like as if it's a sweet fragrance. It's like a 3 or 4 out of 10 in terms of sweetness. But this is essentially an amberwood, cedarwood, bergamot touch of sweet fragrance. And there's not really a lot of lavender to speak of. There is a bit of synthetic feel to it by about 20%, but it's mostly just a fresh citrus on woods fragrance, guys. Not much else to really say. Ageless fragrance, though I feel it's youthful leaning just because of the degree of complexity. This is a super dumb reach, any season, any reason grab. Let's look up the performance real quick. Good value. Where are we at with performance? People say it's moderate to long lasting, so I would just estimate 6 hours plus. When it comes to these kind of cheaper fragrances and things like that, I tend to not really care too much about longevity. I trust what people say about it. It has a substantial amount of votes in that category, so I think you could safely project here 6 hours plus or longevity. The projection is not that crazy. 2 to 3 feet max, which I think is what you want on a fragrance like this. You don't want a really loud, basic type of fragrance. This is casual and casual only. I don't think it's upscale in any way. I don't think it can dip semi-formal. I don't think it's an occasion-based fragrance. This is just dumb reach, out the shower, throw it on and go. I do think there are some more interesting fragrances in this wheelhouse. For instance, like a Coach Open Road, maybe even a CK Everyone, maybe even a Banana Republic Metallic Rain, even a Mahir Legacy Silver, something like that. Even some of the fragrances from Bentley, Bentley Azure, Momentum Unlimited, things like that I feel are a little bit more interesting for the same price point. What is this going for on Joma Shop? See, that's crazy. So for a 3.4 ounce, which is 100 ml, it's going for $75 on Joma. I'm sure you might be able to get this a little bit cheaper. I think just due to the fact that it's newer, it's going for a high ticket price. So yeah, all the fragrances that I mentioned are around the $25 to $30 price point, pretty much anywhere you go for 100 ml. So I think that those are more interesting fragrances. Again, this is very average at best, but I do applaud it for not being super synthetic feeling. But for me, guys, when a citrus, metallic, woodsy fragrance warms up on skin and aerates, even if you love it in the first hour, over time, the fragrance, air, skin elements tend to really break a metallic fragrance down to feel cheap. That's why I'm very picky that if you're going to put a fragrance like that on your skin, it should smell really good. That way, if it breaks down, it might smell a little less good, but it's still a good fragrance. And if you have an incredible fragrance, then, you know, like for me, Mahir Legacy Silver is a great pick, for instance, because it just has 10-hour plus push as a fresh citrus metallic fragrance. You know, you just can't beat that. Typically with freshies, you're dealing with 6 hours at best and very limited projection. So all the fragrances I named have pretty solid performance, but most importantly, they smell incredible for this category. So I think this is a bit of an upcharge just for the fact that it's a new fragrance. I would stay away from it until it dips down in price. I think as far as the TUMI line, none of it's blind buy worthy. You really need to try everything and see what you like, because they're kind of like upscale basic, you know, but this fragrance in particular feels quite basic. Ageless, seasonless, sprays, you're probably going to want to go north of 5, 2 to 3 feet of projection. The longevity seems to be 6 hours at minimum. And it's decent, but I think it's overpriced. That's my final take. And I gave you guys some alternatives, so run the video back if you'd like to know more about that. Again, this is from the house of TUMI, and this was Awaken Distilled. Let me know in the comments if you guys have tried this, if you disagree with me, but I try to be as honest as possible. And even if I don't like a fragrance, I try to really dig under the hood to make light of anything redeemable about the fragrance. So hopefully I gave this fragrance its just due, but I'm not going to talk you to death because, again, I think it's a very average fragrance for me personally in my collection. Yeah, this is the Scent Bubble. Hope you guys have a blessed week, and until next time, peace.